I don't think there has been enough discussion surrounding the idea of how many Democrats support abortion in the ninth month. This is murder.
One thing that's beginning to sink in is that the overturning of Roe v. Wade is not going to save their electoral fortunes. Doesn't seem like that's the case at all. Maybe a percentage point here or there nationally, but nothing in the nature of a major shift. But you're also still hearing things from some very prominent Democrats that you should pay attention to. You should understand who these people really are. Elizabeth Warren is someone who I often just make fun of because I do find her, remember, she is somebody who built a career as a fake Native American. That is just a statement of fact. It's absurd. She's absurd. But she played the system and she dances to the required tune of the left and she says the things she's supposed to say. She's worth like $10 million and always talks about how she hates the rich, etc. But when you hear her on the issue of abortion and how she feels about crisis pregnancy centers. I heard this, and I listen to a lot of stuff, and I'm really deep in the news all the time. This was pretty chilling.
Here in Massachusetts, these so-called crisis pregnancy centers outnumber genuine abortion clinics by 3 to 1. They are giving it over to people who wish them harm. And that has to stop. We need to put a stop to that in Massachusetts right now.
I mean, I've been to fundraisers for a well-known crisis pregnancy center here that does not support abortion, trying to help women have their babies here in New York. Notice, Clay, she says wishes them harm. And I want everyone to be clear. This is a sitting U.S. senator in the state of Massachusetts, which still has very liberal abortion laws, hasn't changed any of the abortion laws in Massachusetts, who's saying that places that say, hey, you're under a lot of duress. We want to help you. We want to give you resources. We want to get you medical care. We're going to get you counseling, to get you baby formula and clothing and assistance for your child that is coming. Those places wish those women harm. She sounds like a psychopath.
She is. And I don't think there has been enough discussion surrounding the idea of how many Democrats support abortion in the ninth month. This is murder. Let's be clear. And if you don't want to talk about it in the context of abortion for a moment, just take a step back. And this analogy, I think, is very difficult for any Democrat to respond to. So I would just use this one. If a mother is pregnant, I would love to hear Elizabeth Warren answer this question. If a mother is pregnant in her 8th or 9th month of pregnancy, and she is shot and killed, and her fetus inside of her, which otherwise would be viable, also dies, should that be considered a double homicide? My answer is yes, because if you are the family of that woman who is murdered, you are not just grieving for the loss of that mother, you are grieving for the life of her child, which is still inside of her as well. Would Elizabeth Warren believe that that should be a double murder? I would love to hear her answer that question. Why then does she have a different perspective? I think she would have to say, yes, that would be a double murder. I think that's a double homicide because there are 2 lives that have been taken. Why then would she be okay with that same situation, someone deciding that they don't want to give birth to a viable baby in the 8th or 9th month of pregnancy? To me, and this is not just Elizabeth Warren, this is Tim Ryan, this is Stacey Abrams. These are Democrat politicians all over the country saying that they believe in 9-month abortions being legal. That needs to be talked about and debated. That's what Roe v. Wade did, was it tossed this all back to the states. And Buck, if we're not having those debates, then we're being dishonest, and there should be consequences politically for those opinions, which, by the way, 90% of the American public disagrees with.